The Montaza Palace is a palace and extensive gardens in the Montaza district of Alexandria. The Montaza complex is located at the eastern edge of the city of Alexandria on the north coast of Egypt. The complex, which size ranges around 360 acres, oversees a gulf that was called the Montaza Gulf. In 1892, the Khalifa Abbas Helmi II bought a lot of land from people living in this area and the house of a rich Alexandrian man to expand the space of his summer resort. He named this complex the Montaza or the Garden. The complex contains 5 beaches for swimming: Aida, Cleopatra, Vanessa, Semiramis, and the private beach of Helen Palestine Hotel. The Garden of Al-Montaza, which is 3,000 meters wide, contains a huge selection of trees and plants, and some of them are quite rare. After the Khedive's death, the royal family continued taking care of the resort until the reign of Farouk I. The Montaza Palace of King Farouk was established in the early 40s. The site and the history for the gardens were one of the main reasons to create Helen Palestine Hotel in 1964. The remaining monuments in the palace, the clock tower, and the famous tea booth overlooking the Mediterranean beach, in addition to the cinema of the princesses adjacent to the palace of the king. After the Egyptian Revolution in 1952, the palace was owned by the government and its gardens were open for public. And also the Salamnik Palace was transformed into a museum until it was added to the presidential palaces. Qaitbay Citadel in Alexandria is considered as one of the most important defensive strongholds not only in Egypt but also in the Mediterranean Sea coast. It formulated an important part of the fortification system of Alexandria in the 15th century AD. The citadel was established by the Sultan al-Ashraf Abul Nasr Saif al-Din Qaitbay al-Zahiri. The citadel is situated at the entrance of the eastern harbor on the eastern point of the Faroes Islands. Sultan Qaitbay built this picturesque fortress during the 14th century to defend Alexandria from the advances of the Ottoman Empire. Qaitbay built the fortress here to take advantage of an existing foundation on the site, that was the Faroes lighthouse, which by the 14th century had fallen into ruins due to repeated damage by earthquakes. The citadel has long since given up military function. Today it houses a small naval museum, but it might be worth a visit to explore the inside of the fortress and imagine the huge structure that once stood on its foundation. The peninsula leading to the citadel is also a popular area with fishermen and families alike. It's usually crowded with a pleasant crowd enjoying the sea views. Restaurants and ice cream shops that line the street up to the fortress. The Library of Alexandria was burned twice across the ages by the Romans. The first one was in 48 BC by Julius Caesar, and the second one was in 399 AD. Upon that time, the best recommendation given to any physician was that he had concluded his medical studies at the museum, which the great library fed it incomparable books. The Ptolemies did their best to provide the library with original copies of books printed in their reign, by buying them by piracy or as a passage of a ship tax. The value of the library was estimated by its books by its scholars, such as Zenodotus, Aristarchus. The new Library of Alexandria is dedicated to recapturing the spirit of openness and scholarship of the original Bibliotheca Alexandrina. In 1974, a plan was imposed to rebuild the library, and in 1998 the UNESCO sponsored an architectural competition for the best design for the new library, in which the Norwegian firm Sonetta was won. It's much more than a library. And today, this vast complex can receive about 1.5 million visitors a year.